Hello, everybody. My name is Anna Shpak, President of Generation Female, and we are here today for masterclass, LinkedIn Marketing and Personal Branding for Female Entrepreneurs with Eva Schneider. The real reason why women remain silent on business platforms like LinkedIn and how to overcome them. We are really happy to host Eva Schneider, founder, Inspired Social Media. Eva is an experienced social media professional with more than 10 years work experience in companies such as Swarovski, Douglas, and Mediacom Switzerland. With her social media agency Inspired, she helps companies and professionals getting started with their Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn marketing, focusing on making female entrepreneurs more visible. As Ia was saying, having had interviews in person with 20 business professionals and polling more than 300 women in Germany, the real reason why women don't speak up on business platforms like LinkedIn became apparent. In this short masterclass, you will discover those reasons and how women can overcome them. Eva, I would like to give you the stage now.
Hi, Anna, and thank you for having me today. I'm very excited to talk about, as you introduced, the results that we found in our poll on why women remain silent, sometimes on business platforms like LinkedIn. Therefore, I would like to quickly share my slides. So I hope you can see them, right? And yeah, let's get started. LinkedIn marketing and personal branding for female entrepreneurs is today's topic. And like Anna said, we did a very interesting study about especially female entrepreneurs and female business professionals here in Germany, which I would like to share with you today. The short agenda we're gonna go through in the 30 minutes we have together will cover the 6 topics that we actually went through in our study. So first we start with the hypothesis, why women are less visible on LinkedIn. And then we dig a little bit into the LinkedIn users, really in the numbers, and really see how many women are on there. And then we will have a quick look on the research results and especially on the objections of women. So why women don't show up as often on LinkedIn as men. And in the end, I'm going to share, of course, with you a little 6-step solution on how to become more visible and do that with not so much effort and in a quite small amount of time. So let's get started. And why I actually started looking into this topic is that there was a quite known LinkedIn marketer here in Germany who very often polls his top follower voices on LinkedIn. And he was complaining and said there's actually a lot of men out there speaking up about their business topics and about their professional topics, but there are not so many women. And he was actually looking for more women. And then I thought, okay, let's dive a little bit deeper in the topic and see why that could be the case. Looking at the numbers, LinkedIn activity has been on the rise extremely since COVID, of course, at the beginning of 2020. New users flocked to the platform since the lack of actually going out and meeting people in real life. And also the number of content pieces and also the number of new features such as live streams exploded, which you can see, for example, there's an increase of 438% of live streaming since October 2020. And this can all, of course, go back to the pandemic. If you really look into the numbers, worldwide, LinkedIn currently has, as stated in January 2021, 722 million users. 16 million are active in the DACH region, meaning Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. And 34% of these users are women. So in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland combined, we're talking about 6.8 million women who have actually registered on LinkedIn and use it. However, LinkedIn also mentioned that only 3% of all users regularly publish content. So the other 97% remain silent and don't really share anything. So they just look what others are doing, they read and they inform themselves, but they don't actually go out and publish content. A quick word on how we set up the study. Like Anna mentioned in her introduction, we polled around 20 women one-on-one in the age group 22 to 48. And then we also had an online panel on Instagram where we asked 300 business professionals to please vote on their behavior on LinkedIn. The interview question, we asked the 20 women that we had interviews with one-on-one were split in 3 main groups. So the first group was, what are your wishes and goals for being active on LinkedIn? The second group around questions was, what are your barriers? Why you're not as active as you would like to be? And the third was about success stories. So the women also shared a lot of success stories on what they actually achieved once they became visible. The second part I talked about was the Instagram survey with 300 women that answered. So we used the poll function on Instagram stories and asked them if they rather post themselves or they rather consume content. And we also asked them a lot of open questions, so they could also freely answer what kind of chances, for example, they see for themselves if they engage more in LinkedIn marketing. Very interesting was the number of goals and wishes that I just talked about, the open question that I received. And a lot of the answers were around promoting their own entrepreneurship or entrepreneurial journey. So we heard a lot of things like PR for my own company, but we also heard things like publish content with little effort. We heard also things like leave the personal comfort zone. And we had, what else was really outstanding? A lot of them wanted to sharpen their expert profile or find networks and partners in crime for their common goals. And a lot of people also had very high ambitions. So they said they really wanted to find like-minded people to change processes in the world that they're ambitious about. The barriers. We found in the research that there are 3 main factors that act as barriers for not being active. And before I conducted the research, I thought it's probably knowledge, so people don't know how to start, or it could be time, so that people don't have time to do that. But as you can see in the pyramid here, the biggest roadblock or barrier is actually fear or mindset topics. That was something we heard most. And the next ones were knowledge, so not knowing how to do it. And a very tiny group on top said time was the problem, so they don't have time to do it. We asked a little bit more, what exactly were the time factors? And I'm going to translate it now since it was in German. And people said a lot of times it's difficult to start first, to really take the time to get into the mood and know what to do. And the second question was, the second answer was to stay consistent, to always take out the time to be visible and to consistently engage on LinkedIn. Then we got a lot of answers around knowledge factors. So people asking questions about, for example, how to find the right content to post. What can I post? How to find the right networking partner? Who should I connect with? How do I find these people? And generally, they also said it's sometimes a bit confusing to you get a lot of messages and notifications, and sometimes it's a very quite complex tool. And some women also said they didn't know how to have an overview over all the functions that are out there on LinkedIn. And the last barriers I'm going to dig a little bit deeper into, because that was, like I said, the biggest part. So there were a lot of mindset and fear topics that came up. For example, one thing that I heard a lot was, if no one likes my post, it looks embarrassing. So with this mindset, women said they don't want to expose themselves and go out because that could happen. Another one is that I heard is, I have no desire for controversial discussions and always post things that are uncritical. For example, successes if you finish your PhD or something and you upload a picture. Another barrier I heard was, I don't want to embarrass myself by saying something wrong or because of incorrect grammar. That was definitely something that came up a lot. And to avoid that, someone said, I always send the post to 3 friends beforehand and to see, to check if it's okay. So that was something that women already did to just have some feedback on what they were about to share. And one thing that came up quite a lot is, I don't know if my topic will interest my entire network. Isn't that boring for many? That was also something that women shared because they knew that in their network was not everyone from their niche or their own profession. So they thought that for most people in the network, it will be boring what they have to share professionally. And one last thing, I want my posts, no, I think it's not the last, almost last, I want my posts to look professional, but I'm not a graphic designer. So really designing something that looks professional was quite challenging for some, and that's why they didn't start engaging. And the last one was, I'm afraid of stupid comments. Could always happen, the same like controversial comments or just like stupid remarks to what they would be sharing. So that was something I also heard. However, there were also quite a lot of success stories that the women who were actively engaging on LinkedIn visibility shared. One was that she got 3 new clients after 1 post alone. She was a graphic designer, so she was self-employed, but also women who were employed, like employed professionals, said they got internal project promotions or got offered internal projects. That was from someone who's a management consultant, and she was quite happy about that someone from the other team saw that she talked about something and then reached out to her and offered her the topic. And another one shared that she got offered an 8 months contract. She was self-employed in the communication area. Also, some fun things happened, like someone said she got recognized in Berlin and approached by some reader of her LinkedIn posts. And another woman shared that also her husband got asked if he's the husband of her because someone was following her and her topic. She was quite in a niche on her LinkedIn post for quite a while. So to conclude, there seem to be 4 LinkedIn success factors that really make it easier for everyone to get started. One is the community, to work with others who also want to become visible and to have a little bit of accountability. And that also leads to the second point, the feedback. Ask peers and friends for feedback when in doubt. That was really helpful for many and is also a nice way to motivate yourself to just find a partner on who you want to share content at the same time with. And also the last point was clarity, really have a clear plan on what to publish and when. So when these things are out of the way, like how to do your graphics, what kind of content is uploaded. So if you have answered all these questions, then you actually have a good chance on be visible on LinkedIn. So to give you a little bit of really hands-on how to get started, I put together 6 easy steps for a start. As you can see, the first one is always to set up your profile and optimize it. The second one is get clear on what kind of content you want to publish and plan it. The third one is publish your first content, actually, if you haven't. And the fourth one is try maybe a LinkedIn article, which is also a quite nice way of showing longer form content and really explore a topic that you would talk about in depth. And the fifth step is start to really build your network with stronger connection and have it grow consistently. And the last one is to really establish content routines so you don't fall off the horse after you started, so you stay on track. For profile setup, I brought you a quick overview of a profile of a female founder here in Germany. It's Florentina Hüssenay. You can also look up her profile on LinkedIn. She's a very good example on how to create a nice profile. So she has, of course, her profile picture which has the face pretty close. So that's important to create a little bit more connection when you're online. Then she has used her LinkedIn banner on top really nicely to write about her and what's exciting for her, like innovative consumer goods, entrepreneurship, and all other topics she's currently interested in. And then she used underneath the box nicely to really clarify what she's doing. In this case, she's the business owner of a wedding platform called My Local Wedding. And at the same time, she's interested in search engine optimization and content. And on the right-hand side, you can also see how nicely she used the job description box. She added some pictures to things that are really interesting and important to her. And if you want to, you can anytime look her up on LinkedIn. She has quite a lot of connections. I think she has more than 10,000 people she's connected with at the moment, and is a good example on how to set up a profile. The second part is content planning. Here you can see a little bit of examples of what kind of content I, for example, share. You can see my color palette. The one of my companies is turquoise. So you see there's always a little bit of turquoise in the pictures. And then you can also see there are some that are quite professionally designed on the left. And then if you go towards the right, they become a lot more informal. But also the informal ones, like the one you can see where my laptop is standing on one of the iron boards, got really a lot of engagement. So you can also share things that are not directly related to everything you do in the business, but also share a little bit of backstage. And on the right-hand side, you can see I was speaking on some other person's platform, giving a short video on LinkedIn. And so you can just experiment a lot with the different content types and see what fits best for you, and just try out a couple of things in the beginning to see what you're comfortable with. And then you can just publish your first post. Just do it, nothing will happen. And after you've done it, you can just keep on going with this road. And try, for example, also an article. Just get inspired by others, see what kind of articles they're writing. Write one and just see how engaging it is. However, articles are not going to get that much interaction like the posts do, but it's still a nice way to explore your business topic that you want to talk about. The fifth step is to start really connections. So use the LinkedIn filter functions, which even if you don't have premium or the sales navigator, for example, you can still filter by a lot of filters like the country, the city. You can filter by position. For example, if you look for people who are more junior, you can type in junior. You can use the and or function in the filters. So that gives you a little bit of variety. So you can really extend your network, but also LinkedIn often gives you a lot of people in your area to connect with, because they kind of know what people could be interesting for you. And the last one, like I said, is to not fall off the horse. That's a German saying. I hope that also works in English, is to establish really routines. Just one post is enough per week. You don't have to be online every day. Just do one every week, or you can do one every 2 weeks if that's reasonable. And then you just come up with something that you like. For example, on the left, that's something I share. It's about when I work with clients and what we achieved. Or on the right is something that you see a lot now. Those are those LinkedIn sliders where you can slide through and see different topics. So if you just come up with a nice routine, so you say once a week or once a month I publish a client case, and once a month I publish something, some other backstage or some topic I want to talk about, whatever you like, then you actually have a nice routine. And if you look over the year, there's going to be a lot of visibility for you and your topic and your profession and your business. And in the long run, will really help build up your personal brand. So we have 25 minutes now. Do you have any questions, Anna? Did we see any questions in the chat?
Thank you very much, first of all, Eva, for your masterclass. And we have a few questions. Let's start from the first one. LinkedIn is very expensive to use for advertising. Can you give advice how to increase visibility without spending a lot of money? Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, it's true. LinkedIn advertising is still more expensive than other networks like Facebook or Instagram. That's why I think it's very easy to build an organic network. So then, of course, you have to invest a little bit of time. But if you 2-3 times a week go on there, add new people in your niche, and also connect with the right people, and also post one content piece, then I think depends, of course, on your business case, but then you have very good chances to meet a lot of new connections without spending a lot of money on advertising there.
Okay, thank you. We have another great question. Is it possible to get more deep online training on how to use LinkedIn?
Yes, so there are several ways. LinkedIn itself is offering courses, a lot of courses on how to use the platform. However, I of course offer this. We work together with a group of several women for 6 to 8 weeks and really do anything together, because I think the feedback and the way to ask questions before you publish something is quite important. But then on the other hand, you can also just get a lot of education. If you just look for information and not feedback, then you can get a lot of education on YouTube as well. There's a lot of content out there.
Okay, thank you. We have another good question. How to get more likes and contacts on LinkedIn?
So likes and contacts, I would say, are quite different things. So contacts just means you have to actively reach out to people and connect to them, which you can do on a daily basis. Just add new people that interested you. and write them a quick message on what you find interesting about them. And this is quite easy to get in touch. And the second one is to get more likes. That means that actually the people who follow you are interested in your topic. So you have to make sure that that there's a good match between the topics you're talking about, also in your posts, and the people who see it. And if that's a good match, for example, if I do LinkedIn marketing and a lot of the people I know are interested in LinkedIn marketing, they're going to engage with my topics. If a lot of people I know are lawyers and not interested, I'm just making things up, on LinkedIn marketing, then of course they're not going to engage because they don't mind. It's just not their business. So yeah.
Okay. And another good question, and I guess it's the last one. So the people who is watching us, please don't hesitate to ask any question. We're here to help you to build business. So for the moment, this is the last question. Any special rules for content?
Special rules. That's a very good question. So like I showed, so you can be very formal. I would just say stay away from stock images, because people don't want to see that. They really want to learn more about yourself. So share something from your work, share something what you're doing. You can make it look more professional if you go to tools like Canva, for example, and find some nice graphics you can use. Or you can also just take pictures, should be nicely taken pictures of what you're doing. So every good phone nowadays has a really good camera. So you can also just, you don't have to make a big photo shoot or something, you can just document. It's called, documentary content. So you can just document your journey and what you're doing.
Okay. Thank you, Yeva. I guess this is the last question we have for the moment. Let me just to check and update website.
Yeah.
Anyway, we are recording our masterclass, and if someone would like just to watch us again, can do it on our website generation.net. And we will be very pleased to share. Also, if any question on the forum, which we have for members only, you can leave your question after. Maybe you think about what Yeva said and you have some question. Please don't hesitate to leave questions there, and I will be sure that we will get answers and replies, and we stay in contact. From my side, Yeva, thank you very much for nice masterclass. I think it was really helpful. I'm very happy, and see you this Saturday for another talk. Thank you very much, and have a good day, everybody.
Yeah, thank you everyone for listening. Reach out on LinkedIn if you have questions.